Today's top stories. Less than a day after a 6.1 magnitude quake hit Zambales, a 6.5 magnitude earthquake rocks eastern Samar. The government mobilizes all concerned agencies to assess the damage brought by the magnitude 6.1 quake in Luzon. The military and the Senate dismissed the destabilization plot by the alleged matrix of detractors of President Duterte. And homeowners express support for the demolition of their homes amid rehabilitation efforts in Marawi.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. A 6.5 magnitude earthquake rocked eastern Samar this afternoon, less than a day after a 6.1 magnitude quake hit Zambales. The epicenter was located 19 kilometers west of San Julian, eastern Samar. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, did not raise any tsunami threat, adding that the quake was not related to Monday's 6.1 magnitude quake in Luzon. The jolt was also reportedly felt in Caraga and Bicol regions. Intensity 5 was reported in Tacloban City, in Leyte, and in Catbalogan City in Samar. Massive damage had hit parts of Luzon following the magnitude 6.1 earthquake on Monday afternoon. The government has mobilized its responders to assess the damage in affected areas as Malacanang monitors the situation. Rom Dulfo has the story.
16 people were confirmed dead, 81 injured, while 14 others are still missing in the magnitude 6.1 quake that jolted parts of Luzon on Monday. According to the NDRRMC, 32 structures in central Luzon and the National Capital Region were damaged by the quake. President Duterte has ordered all governors of affected provinces to assess the damage caused by the quake. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo says first responders from the NDRRMC, Office of Civil Defense, Philippine National Police, affected LGUs, and other related agencies are cooperating and coordinating on the ground to look after citizens' needs. He also asked the public to remain calm, vigilant, and refrain from spreading disinformation on social media. The DND has directed the Office of Civil Defense and the AFP to assist in the assessment and relief operations of areas affected by the quake. The DPWH is also sending its disaster response teams to help in areas affected by the 6.1 magnitude quake. Several major infrastructure were earlier reported damaged by the quake in Pampanga and Bataan. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Pampanga has declared a state of calamity due to the massive damage left by the magnitude 6.1 earthquake in the province. Operations at the Clark International Airport were suspended for 24 hours due to damages caused by the strong quake. The Clark Control Tower and Passenger Terminal building sustained damages. At least 7 people sustained minor injuries when a part of the ceiling at the check-in lobby of the airport collapsed. The municipality of Porac earlier declared a state of calamity following the deaths and damages by the quake there. The local government also appealed for help as some 40 persons are reportedly trapped in the collapsed 4-story building which houses the Chuzon supermarket. Meanwhile, the Consuelo Bridge in Florida Blanca town was temporarily closed due to damage. The boundary arc separating Pampanga and Bataan collapsed. The road at the Porac portion of the Subic-Clark-Tarlac Expressway likewise cracked. Portions of the St. Augustine Parish Church in Lubao and the St. Catherine Church in Porac sustained damages. The magnitude 6.1 earthquake was felt with varied intensities in parts of Metro Manila and Central Luzon. According to PHIVOLCS, the quake was felt strongest in Pampanga, Zambales, Bulacan, Batangas, Bataan, Quezon City, Valenzuela City, and Manila. PHIVOLCS traced the tectonic earthquake's epicenter around 18 kilometers north of Castillejo, Zambales. In Zambales, a boy had died when a landslide hit Sitio Lumibao, a mountainous area in Barangay Buhawin, San Marcelino. The earthquake also caused a minor landslide in Barangay Aglao and minor damages in a creek canal along Purok 3 in Barangay Burgos. All roads in the province are passable and no power outages were reported. Meanwhile, 9 schools in Bataan, Muntinlupa, Pampanga, and Zambales were damaged by the earthquake. Most of them had collapsed perimeter fences and pathways and damaged buildings and corridors. Work and classes in the private and public sector were suspended in Central Luzon early today to give authorities time to check the integrity of buildings and other structures. Back in Metro Manila, Malacanang suspended work in government offices following the 6.1 magnitude earthquake that rocked Luzon. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council recommended the suspension of work to diminish the load of public transport. The Supreme Court also ordered an inspection of all courthouses in Metro Manila and Central Luzon. House Speaker Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo suspended work as she ordered the inspection of the buildings in the House of Representatives. Senate President pro tempore Ralph Recto also suspended work after cracks were found in the GSIS building, which houses the Senate. Meanwhile, PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde ordered an immediate inspection and assessment of all police stations and other camp facilities affected by the earthquake. He also emphasized the physical security of all detention cells to ensure that no suspects under custody can escape. He also directed the Police Regional Office 3 to provide assistance in rescue and relief operations. A congressman calls for the creation of the Department of Disaster Resiliency. And the DPWH asked occupants to vacate the quake-damaged college building. More on these and other news around the metro from Janice Cabe.
Kabayan Party List Representative Ron Salo urged the Senate to consider the passage of House Bill number 8165, which will lead to the creation of a Department of Disaster Resiliency. He says the bill, which has been ratified in the House, will ensure a collective effort in the government to prepare for disasters and emergencies. Meanwhile, the Department of Public Works and Highways asked occupants of the Emilio Aguinaldo College building in Manila to vacate after it sustained damage from the magnitude 6.1 earthquake. Based on the initial ocular inspection, the building's terrace and precast in the 6th and 7th floor of the 10-story building were damaged. DPWH personnel cordoned off the area of UN Avenue for security. In other news, overseas Filipino workers affected by the crisis in Libya are likely to be deployed to other countries. DOLE Secretary Silvestre Bello III says affected Filipino medical workers are being considered for deployment in Japan, Germany, and United Kingdom. He says forced repatriation of the Filipinos in Libya is likely due to the escalating violence there. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cabe.
Still to come, the military and the Senate dismissed this destabilization plot by the alleged matrix of detractors of President Duterte. Workers in Caraga region are set to receive a minimum wage hike. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Pilipinas ay nakalatag sa isang malawak na zona na kung tawagin ay Pacific Ring of Fire. Dahil dito, laging nakaamba sa ating bansa ang panganib na dulot ng mga kalamidad. Kabilang sa mga kalamidad na ito ang lindol at pagputok ng bulkan. Bagaman hindi eksaktong masasabi kung kailan lilindol, dapat tayong maging handa. Siguraduhin ligtas ang pagkakalagay ng mga mabibigat at mga nakabiting bagay. Pag-aralan ang earthquake plan sa inyong paaralan, opisina at sa inyong komunidad. Laging ihanda ang inyong go bags anumang oras. Ang inyong go bag ay dapat na nagtataglay ng mahahalagang pangangailangan tulad ng mga pagkaing hindi nasisira gaya ng mga delata, matibay na flashlight, di baterya o dynamo na radyo at ekstrang baterya, pito, fully charged na cellphone at power banks, first aid kit, mga gamit sa sanitasyon at personal na kalinisan, kumot, supply ng gamot lalo na kung kayo ay nagme-maintenance, Iligay rin sa inyong go bag ang kopya ng inyong mahahalagang dokumento, emergency contact information at ekstrang pera. Mag-ipon rin ng tubig na maiinom ng buong pamilya sa loob ng 3 araw. Ugaliing maging mapagmatyag sa inyong paligid at pag-aralan ang mga magiging hakbang sakaling magkaroon ng trahedya. Isang mahalagang paalala para masiguradong ligtas sa pagdating ng lindol.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines has dismissed reports on the supposed destabilization plot against the Duterte administration. According to AFP, there will always be groups that plot against any president, but they have not yet detected any specific threat against President Duterte. Senate President Tito Soto has also shrugged off the supposed destabilization plot against the president. He says the plot will go nowhere, especially now that those involved have been revealed. Meanwhile, Senator Coco Pimentel urged the public to disregard news about destabilization plots and trust the government's democratic processes instead. Media reports identified a certain matrix of individuals believed to be behind the Bicoy videos in an alleged plot to destroy the image of President Rodrigo Duterte. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, or NGCP, has intensified its monitoring of transmission facilities following the 6.1 magnitude earthquake that shocked Luzon. NGCP activated 24/7 monitoring to check the status of facilities in Luzon as power outages were registered in Pangasinan, Pampanga, La Union, and Bataan. Power transmission services in areas serviced by the Pampanga Rural Electric Cooperative, the Pampanga 1 Electric Cooperative, Pelco 2, and San Fernando Electric Light and Power Company have been restored. Power was earlier restored in Quezon, Batangas, Camarines Sur, and Sorsogon. Meantime, the Luzon grid was placed under yellow and red alert status today. Army and police bomb experts found 2 improvised explosive devices inside and outside a Catholic chapel in Lambayong, Sultan Kudarat. According to reports, civilians found the explosive planted near the entrance of the chapel. Further investigation led to the discovery of another IED at the site of the still unfinished chapel that was safely deactivated. One of the bombs went off while the bomb disposal team was preparing to disarm the IEDs. Nobody was hurt in the explosion and no one has claimed responsibility for bombing attempt. In other news, the Wage Board in Caraga region implements a new minimum wage. Meanwhile, Butuan City Police offers a bounty for information leading to the killer of a radio commentator. More on these and other news from the provinces from Benj Bondo.
The minimum wage in Caraga region will be set to 320 pesos starting May 1, Labor Day. The new minimum wage is pegged at 305 pesos plus a 15 peso cost of living allowance. In Butuan City, a 50,000 peso bounty is set for anyone who can help locate the suspect in the killing of a radio commentator. The suspect is identified as Ulating Makarampat Barapangkat, alias Ola Saransamen, who allegedly stabbed radio man Francis Patindol last Saturday. Police are still facing a blank wall on the suspect's motive, although the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines said Patindol's death may not have been work-related. In Zamboanga City, the Commission on Elections has set a meeting with Zamboanga City Electric Cooperative to assess the power situation in the city. This is to ensure that there will be no power interruptions during the May 13 elections. COMELEC will also meet Police Regional Office 9 and the military's West Mincom to discuss the contingency plans in relation to the city's power situation. Zamboanga City has been plagued with unannounced daily brownouts following Zamcelco's non-payment of dues to the Western Mindanao Power Corporation. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
The death toll from the multiple bombings in Sri Lanka rose to 310, while over 500 were injured. 24 suspects have been arrested so far, and investigators were ongoing to nab more suspects. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says all arrested were local citizens. Last Monday, another minor explosion occurred in Coxicade in the capital, Colombo, when the bomb disposal squad was attempting to defuse an explosive device found in an abandoned vehicle. Sri Lanka's cabinet spokesperson Rajita Serathne says police had received prior information on possible terror attacks, but adequate measures had not been taken. President Maithripala Sirisena declared a conditional state of emergency from midnight Monday to ensure citizens remain safe and for the maintenance of essential supplies and services. Up next, Comelec reminds unopposed candidates that they need votes before they can be proclaimed as winners. Homeowners express support for the demolition of their homes amid rehabilitation efforts in Marawi. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Dahil ang Pilipinas ay nasa lokasyon na kabilang sa tinatawag na Pacific Ring of Fire, ang ating bansa ay madalas makaranas ng mga paglindol at pagputok ng mga bulkan. Kapag lumindol at nasa loob kayo ng isang tahanan o anumang establishmento, lumayo sa mga bintana at pintuan, manatili lang sa loob hanggang sa pagtigil ng pagyanig ng lupa. Gawin ang drop, cover, and hold. Dumapa sa sahig at magtago sa ilalim ng mabigat na muebles na kaya kang protektahan hanggang sa tumigil na ang mga pagyanig. Kung nasa labas kayo nang magkaroon ng pagyanig, lumayo sa mga gusali, poste ng ilaw, mga kawad o kable at anumang bagay na posible bumagsak. Kung nasa loob ng sasakyan, huminto at manatili sa loob hanggang tumigil ang pagyanig. Isang mahalagang paalala para sa masiguradong ligtas sa pagdating ng lindol. Pagkatapos ng lindol, alamin kung nagkaroon ka ng pinsala, gayon din ang iyong mga kasamahan. Mag-ingat sa mga basag na salamin at iba pang bagay na makakasugat. Magsuot ng matibay na sapatos para hindi masugatan ang inyong paa. Lumayo sa mga dalampasigan. Posible ang pagkakaroon ng tsunami kapag huminto na sa pagyanig ang lupa. Kung kayo ay nasa paaralan o trabaho, sundin ang emergency plan. Posible ang pagkakaroon ng aftershocks o mga pagyanig, kaya manatiling kalmado at sundin ang mga alituntunin para manatili kayong ligtas. Tignan ang mga linya ng tubig, gas at kuryente kung may sira. Kung meron, isarado agad ang switch o valve. Kung may amoy ng gas, buksan lahat ng mga bintana at pinto. Magmadaling lumabas at i-report sa mga kinauukulan. Nakasaad ang hotlines ng mga ahensya na maaaring tawagan kapag may emergency o krisis. Isang paalala para masiguradong ligtas sa pagdating ng lindol.
More than 500 candidates for local positions are running unopposed in the May 13 midterm elections, but each of them will still need to be voted into office. Comelec says unopposed bets cannot be declared winners unless someone actually votes for them. A total of 547 bets for next month's polls have no opponents for the positions they are vying for. Meanwhile, election lawyer and opposition senatorial bet Romulo Macatintal requested the Comelec to issue a statement on barangay officials who are supporting candidates. The request was made after incumbent barangay and local officials have consulted him on whether they can endorse candidate or not. Earlier, the Department of the Interior and Local Government asked the poll body to look into the supposed partisan activities by some 52 elected barangay officials. In sports, Coronadal City stepped up its preparations for the 2019 Little League Philippines Series, which will be held on May 19 to 26. Around 500 athletes, coaches, and chaperones are expected to participate in the said event. At least 37 teams from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao will compete in the national finals. The games, which will be held in 3 playing venues. These are South Cotabato Sports Complex, Notre Dame of Maribel University, and the Coronadal National Comprehensive High School. In sports, Magnolia Pambansang Manok has tied its PBA Philippine Cup semifinal series with the Rain or Shine Elasto Painters at 2 wins each. The Hotshots salvaged a 94-91 win in Game 4 of their PBA Philippine Cup best-of-7 semifinals at the Smart Araneta Coliseum Monday night. Gio Halalo nailed 2 crucial free throws to help Magnolia hold on to the lead. Ian Sangalang finished the game with a double-double game of 19 points and 10 rebounds. James Yap led Rain or Shine's rally with 2 points, but missed a three-pointer that could have sent the game to overtime. The demolition in Marawi City continues as Task Force Bangon Marawi clears the city's most affected area. Sweet Lukman files this report.
Displaced homeowners gradually realizes the importance of allowing the Task Force Bangon Marawi's Interagency Committee on Debris Clearing to demolish their homes destroyed by the Marawi siege almost 2 years ago. This came after Marawi Mayor Mahul Gandamra himself gave his consent to demolish their destroyed ancestral home at the most affected areas in Sector 5 last Valentine's Day. Engineer Ikmat Bantuas of the National Housing Authority, which leads the IACDC, clarified that the debris clearing team can't touch the structure without the owner's consent. The policy states that if the owner permits the demolition of the structure, he or she should file an application for demolition with the Office of the Building Official at Marawi City Hall with the declaration of personal information, particulars on the property, attestation that he or she is the owner of the structure as per attested by the barangay local government unit, along with his or her consent to allow the IACDC to demolish his or her destroyed home. Upon the receipt of the application, the OBO shall motu proprio issue a demolition permit. The contractor or NHA, upon receipt of the approved demolition permit, shall issue a corresponding notice of demolition to the owner of the building, indicating the time and date of demolition. Should the structure owner fail to show up on the scheduled time despite due notice, it shall be considered a renunciation of his or her privilege to witness the process. The contractor or NHA shall fully document all demolition activities with the presence of an official representative from the concerned BLGU. Any and all personal, valuables, and precious items recovered by the contractor or NHA during the demolition and clearing activities shall be properly documented and turned over to its rightful owner or to the BLGU. The owner shall fully acknowledge the same through a duly signed acknowledgement receipt of all items recovered during the demolition and clearing activities. Without the owner's consent, the contractor or NHA shall submit a letter request to the OBO for the structural evaluation of the structure of those owners who refuse to apply demolition permit during the indicative period or sign a consent to demolish their building. Following the assessment of IACDC, and if it finds the structure still structurally safe and sound, OBO shall issue a certification to this effect and shall not be included in the list of structures recommended for demolition. However, the NHA warned the owners who refused or failed to give their consent for a free demolition of their unsafe homes, they will have to shoulder the cost of demolition on their own. Debris management worth 2.3 billion is the #1 preliminary of the Bangon Marawi Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program. For PNA Newsroom, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories.
Less than a day after a 6.1 magnitude quake hit Zambales, a 6.5 magnitude earthquake rocks eastern Samar. The government mobilizes all concerned agencies to assess the damage brought by the magnitude 6.1 quake in Luzon. The military and the Senate dismissed the destabilization plot by the alleged matrix of detractors of President Duterte. And homeowners express support for the demolition of their homes amid rehabilitation efforts in Marawi.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And since many unexpected earthquakes are happening, we do urge all Filipinos to stay prepared as we cannot predict the earthquakes. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.